Hello everyone, JRDL96 here with a brand new reaction. As you can tell by the title, it's another Jacksepticeye video, and it's another one of those, like, I guess, vlog type videos, like, you know how Mark does those types of videos, where he's just talking serious and talking just to us, the fans. Like, you know, when he talked about the worst pain he's ever been in his life, or, you know, telling us that he feels lost, or he's just, you know, crying like a baby because of the fact that we didn't care, that we didn't really mind him taking a break when he needed to. Stuff like that. But last time we saw Jack do something like this was when he talked about how gaming on YouTube has changed. And how he in his honest opinion, like how he feels about it. Now, I guess we go from a serious thing to more of, I guess, a funny thing? I don't know. Because the title alone just kind of seems interesting to me. I broke my crush's ankle in school. So this doesn't sound... yeah, talk about a ladies' man, Jack. Or Sean. Top of the morning, and they just trip on and break their ankle when you scream, top of the morning! Yeah, I'm an ass. Alright. I might as well just get right into it and see what this story entails. So without further ado, let's react to this video, shall we?
Let me tell you all the story about the time I broke my crush's ankle when I was a kid. Okay, now before you condemn me to hell, before you unsubscribe from Jacksepticeye,
it was an accident.
You all go straight to social media and brandish me as the worst human being of all time. Let me set up the scene.
Let me explain.
I feel like when you guys have the context, it's probably not going to be any better. Many years ago, when I was a wee babby lad in Ireland, I can't remember exactly what age I was. I was between 10 and 15. I was actually about 12, because I was in primary school.
Or elementary
like
school. Middle school.
Time for some people in the world, I don't know. I was 12 years old. When is that for you? And in my class, there were 6 boys and 6 girls. It's not always like that. It wasn't planned to be as balanced out as it was. Thanos wasn't my principal. It just happened to be that way in my class. There was only 12 people in all of my class. And we were in 6th class. For any of you who goes to Irish schools, we're in 6th class. You start off primary school, you do years 1 to 6, and then you go off to secondary school and you do years 1 to 6, but you can kind of skip the 4th year if you want. It's very confusing. But I was about 12 years old in 6th class,
to 12,
and I had a crush on this girl who was in my class. Let's call them Sandra. Now at that age, on the cusp of manhood, starting
when
off
puberty started to kick in,
the craziest time of your life, I had a crush on a couple of girls in my class. Some of them had crushes on me. What can I say? I was a young, cute baby boy. I have no idea what happened. Before I became the Jacksepticeye, I was a sweet little virgin boy. I had expressed interest in this girl at that age, as awkward as that was. I wanted to kiss her. I wanted her to be my girlfriend. I wanted all these crazy things to happen. I was mapping out my entire life before me. I was having babies and getting married and sailing
those
across
crazy
the world
thoughts that go through your head.
in my head already. But I didn't know how to express those feelings. You know, it's like
I can relate.
Any 12-year-olds out there watching? Of course there are. It's YouTube. There's billions of 12-year-olds watching YouTube.
I can relate. It's hard.
Awkward at that age. You don't know how to express your feelings. At least I didn't.
I
didn't know how to talk to her. I didn't know how to talk to any of the girls in my class, so everyone was just equal. Because we used to have a boys and girls school. It was the same school, but it was disconnected by a line in the middle. So the boys and the girls were disconnected.
Like separate?
At some point in the school, but for the majority of my school-going years, all the boys and girls were together. So we all just hung out together and we all had fun. Now, as much as I would love to slide in
to your DMs
class and just be like, hey, baby,
howdy, bitch.
That wasn't the case. I didn't know what I was doing, so...
Of course not.
The way I expressed my interest in girls in my class was pure violence. We would have these games at lunchtime, and normally it would be something like Red Rover, you know, when you hold hands and somebody calls somebody over from the other side and they have to try and break the chain between hands. If you don't break the chain, then you get added to their chain. We used to play that fairly often, and we got pretty We got pretty intense when we played that game.
Good Lord.
We would just run as hard as we could. And I, with the sheer force of all of the featherweight that I was, tiny young lad, I was really, really small.
80 pounds.
Really small and skinny. A swift breeze would have blown me into oblivion. But I would run at that with all my force. And a slim, hip little boy like that, I'm like a knife through hot butter. A hot knife through butter. That's the phrase. And I would slice through those people. I was amazing. I was also really fast. I was good at like cops and robbers, or what did we call it? Jailers, I think we used to call it. There's a bunch of different names. But we ended up playing this game called Bulldog, also known as Sharks and Minnows, Running Red Rovers. Red Rover, okay, it wasn't Red Rovers really. Basically, it's derivative of any sort of like tag game. You go up and you chase each other and you put each other in little pretend baby jail. And you have a baby fight and then you get sent to bigger man jail. But we would play this game and we would get really aggressive with it. We were so aggressive with it that the teachers had to stop us. That we kind of put our own spin on what Bulldog was, and we would just straight up tackle each other. And boys, girls, man, woman, child, priest, or prostitute, it didn't matter. We would mow you down with the sheer force of a 10-year-old.
Prostitute,
and
priest.
Beat you into the ground with as much force as we could. I got a fair few licks. I tackled a few people. Of course, I have the weight of a small Pomeranian at that age, so I couldn't do a whole lot. So I would just rely on my speed. I would be so fast. I'd be like the wind. I was so skinny, I was like a 2D character. But we kind of got bored of playing Bulldog over and over again. Each lunchtime, it would just kind of get a little boring, and the teachers were kind of stopping us from playing it the way we wanted to. So we ended up moving on to a game that has no name. Legend tells of this game has no name. It was a game where we played football with very little rules got to do with football, other than the fact that we were kicking a ball. We were allowed to pick it up as well.
Rugby.
The game was that 20 people would go out into the field, and one person would get the ball, and whoever had the ball had to try and keep it away from everybody else. But if you had the ball, you were fair game to be murdered.
Yep.
And again, same rules apply. It didn't matter who you were.
Rugby.
We didn't see genders. We didn't see sexualities. We didn't see race.
It's a blurry vision.
Beliefs. We didn't see anything. All we saw was the target in our minds.
Target acquired.
And legs running 90 after them. And
God.
I got the ball a couple of times, but I would always kick it away immediately because I was terrified of everyone crushing my tiny
of course.
body.
That would be me.
But one thing led to another, and Sandra got the ball. And at this time, testosterone was fueling my body.
Ding, ding,
I was a young man on the cusp of manhood. I was ready to show my worth to the world and be like, no, I'm not small and scrawny. I'm a tackle this girl. So the ball went her way. And me trying to show my affection the best way I got possible, which was sheer brute force.
I wonder how Gavin goes to this.
And tackled her. Now, I've tackled many women in my time. This video is just going to be called Jacksepticeye is the biggest misogynist. Okay, I was young. I didn't know. We were just all playing fun and games. And for the most part, everyone was tackling everybody.
It's innocent.
We all tackled each other.
It's all innocent.
Nobody ever really got that hurt. You kind of fell down, got a little winded every now and then. But this was a special occasion because I tackled Sandra.
Oof.
But what I didn't know was that her foot was in a hole, in a little divot in the grass.
Oh.
And when I tackled her, just push her over, I used her as a lever to try and turn the earth. I pushed her and got caught in this and just kind of twisted.
Yeah, you twisted her ankle completely.
I didn't know that this had happened at the time. All I did was stood up, dusted myself off.
Like, yeah.
Got him. But Sandra didn't get back up off the ground. If anything, she was crying her eyes out, and everybody else came rushing over and looking me in the eye to be like, what did you do? Of course, I was riding high on my glory that I had won the game of killing people. It was a few moments after that it kind of clicked in my head what had actually happened. That she was way more hurt than I thought. It wasn't just that I pushed her over and she like twisted her ankle. We knew something bad had happened, so we brought her into the classroom, and our teacher at the time started looking into it, and lo and behold, we found out that her ankle was broken. It wasn't so bad like her ankle, like her bone popped out or anything. That would be badass. But her ankle did look kind of like a fish that was dead,
like
ready to be eaten.
The bones was kind of like.
Her ankle wasn't supposed to do that.
Just
there was a lot more crunching
crooked
going on than it probably should have as well. It was like we were trying to make bread inside whatever. So she went off to the hospital, got treated for a broken ankle. I sat in my shame all day
detention?
in that classroom. This lasted about a month.
Oh, man.
Because my classmates hated me at first. They got over it in a couple of days because kids be kids. We just went out and started murdering each other again all over 2 days later. But all my classmates hated me. But no one hated me more
than Sandra.
Than the teacher did. Actually, no one hated me more than I hated myself at that moment because I felt absolutely awful. It was one of the worst feelings I had in my entire life because not only did I break someone's ankle, I broke a girl's ankle, and it was the girl who I had a big crush on. Somebody that I wanted to be like, hey, will you like me? No, what did I do? Crunch. But after she went to the hospital, we were all sitting in the classroom doing, I don't know, math. I think we actually were doing math.
English,
and we had to go to the classroom answering, everybody had to give an answer to each of the sums that were coming up. And it came to me.
Oh boy.
And I have never seen the devil incarnate like I did with my teacher.
Everybody was like,
she looked at me as if to say, like, I have to ask you this question, but Lord Almighty, I will break both your legs. And it came to me, she asked me the question, 2 plus 2, I put up my hand, said 5, teacher, and she looked at me as if to say, how dare you answer? I think she actually told me to shut up at one point.
Oh,
but I was talking to my friends, and she just looked at me and went, shut up.
Shut up.
And I froze. I was like a deer in headlights. I was like Sandra in a divot. I was frozen and broken. It even got to a point where I was so upset that I thought everyone hated me that I just kind of stopped talking to anybody in the class for about a week. I didn't really answer any of the questions in class anymore, and I was an outgoing kid. I've always kind of been extroverted, and I was the one making jokes, I was the class clown, I was putting up my hand and answering a bunch of stuff all the time. I was always really involved, but then I just stopped talking to anybody, and it got so bad that the parents of Sandra had to come to my house to make sure that I was okay.
Aww.
I was so afraid to see them that I didn't come out of my room. I just listened to what my parents were saying with her parents through the door. I couldn't really make any of it out. I just sounded like... We also played Gaelic football together. Everybody
Gaelic
played on the same team.
I wonder where Gaelic Gladiator came from.
Same team. We would just play other schools around kind of our region where we lived.
Friendly.
And Sandra was always on the team. She was always on the team with everybody else. I was usually on the team as well. But we all went a couple of days later to this Gaelic match. And, of course, Sandra wasn't there. She wasn't able to come because good old Captain Crunch here, all broken bones, she wasn't able to go to the match, and I felt horrible because I had to be in the room with all of my classmates together. And I felt so bad about what had happened because she was a really good player on her team and everyone missed her. So we were kind of just out there, and all I could think about was that moment. I kind of just froze and locked up and didn't really play the game properly. But there was a shining light through it all. After about a month, it wasn't even really a month, it was like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks.
Close to a month.
Sandra was back in school and she was doing fine and everybody was back to normal. And she even started talking to me again. And my heart, my little baby heart, eased my suffering once more. But I never forgot the day that I broke my crush's ankle as a kid. But in the end, she did kind of become my girlfriend a tiny bit, and we ended up kissing.
Aww.
And, you know, life worked out. So what I'm trying to say is,
I guess
breaking her ankle was fate, and it brought us closer together. Anyway, I'm going to leave this video here. I've always had this story, and I never really knew what avenue to tell it in. I've always wanted to do something and talk about it, but I didn't want to be like, hey, story time.
With Jacksepticeye.
At one point. But now I'm a storytime YouTuber. I have plenty of stories from my childhood growing up in Ireland. Some of them I told in the tour. But if you want to hear more stories from my childhood, if you want to hear more stories from me growing up or my past or anything, let me know. I have plenty of stories to share, and these are kind of fun to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Oh, and remember, drink lots of milk, because then your bones will be strong. And an idiot like me won't break them.
I guess that next video that started playing, there was no sound effect. You just heard Jack do the whoopsh, which is weird. Okay, so that was an interesting story. Oh boy, Jack, I'll let you slide. Like, dude, like, shit happens. Accidents happen. Like, but I kind of find it strange that, especially, like, whatever game that they were playing, like, I guess you could say, I was gonna say maybe kind of like a combination of soccer and football. The football of America and soccer, or which is football in the UK. I was thinking maybe rugby. Something, I don't know, but because that is more like a combination of like, I don't know, I'm not saying it is because I'm probably wrong, but it's like football, but more like playing frisbee. Like you have to pass it to your player, to your teammate, whatever. I guess that's what it was. And I guess he decided to Goldberg spear her. Goldberg spear Sandra and break her ankle in the process. And it didn't really click until they saw everybody looking at him like, you fucking asshole. How dare you? I kind of feel bad for Jack because I'm pretty sure he had to feel very bad because of what he did. He was like, oh, he probably had, like, even he said, like, it got so bad, like, to the point where Sandra's parents came over to see if he was okay. Like, he really felt bad for doing that. You kind of feel bad for him, but it's kind of funny that they kind of did end up going out at some point for a little bit before, Jack moved on, they moved on and went their separate ways, and here we are now. Well, luckily, number one, I don't have anything to relate to that because I don't think I would be that. I'm not that violent. I'm not that violent when it comes to women. I'm not that violent. Like the real sports that we really played, like the only sport I participated in, I said this plenty of times, is track and field. But there will be occasions sometimes when, on like a day of practice, when we are just when it's not really serious and we're not prepping for a track meet, and like you could technically call it like an off day, but we still go to practice anyway. We decided to play like something like soccer or frisbee or football or something like that. Like there was an occasion when we were playing soccer, and I swear to God, this guy was. I had the ball at one point, and this guy almost tried to rugby tackle me by my legs. He hit my leg so hard, I swear to God, I thought I probably fractured it. He hit me so hard, but somehow my bone was still intact, which is shocking. But luckily enough, honestly, I don't even remember if there were any girls on that team. Maybe an occasional one that was like really athletic, like who actually plays soccer. We're used to that violent shit. Well, I didn't have shin guards. That's another thing too. Well, no, duh. Like it's just a normal day, and usually that's what happens. Yeah, but overall, that was really that, but I know that has nothing to do with breaking my crush's ankle or anything like that. I don't have any stories related to that, but the thing was, I wasn't in school. For me, I wasn't really that like when it came to girls, I wasn't that good. I was still young and stupid and not knowing what I was doing. Like, I would just kind of, like, creepily follow girls. And I know that's wrong. I clearly learned from that. But I was young, and I really didn't know how to approach a girl and say, hey! I didn't know how to do it. But I remember there was one time, and I think this was in 8th grade. I was in middle school. It was my final year in middle school before I graduated to go to high school. Which would be, well, I find it more interesting because his school system was completely different compared to us in the United States, where I am. He said, like, primary school 1 to 6, and then secondary school 1 to 6. For me, it was elementary school, which was kindergarten to 5th grade. But here's another thing that is kind of interesting, because I used to live in a different town that, for the elementary school, was kindergarten to 6th grade, and high school was 7th to 12th. So when I moved to a different school, it was kindergarten to 5th. So I graduated a year early, pretty much. And I went to a middle school, and then I went to a high school. Like, that's how it was. But anyways, back to what I was saying. Like, this was in 8th grade in middle school, and I was in a tech class. Like, I guess I don't know how to, like, word it and what it's technically called, but it's called tech. It's kind of like a workshop class where you make stuff. Like here's the one thing I remember vividly making, and that was a CO2 dragster car out of wood. We made that out of wood, and ironically enough, that has a little bit of involvement in this story that I'm about to tell. And I'm going to try to keep the names, like, private, but, well, I'm not going to say their full name, like their first and last name, but I'll just name them. And so here I am, like, we're just about to get started on, like, the day of moving forward with making the CO2 dragsters. We just had this little block of wood, and that was it. But we just had to, like, use a saw to, like, shape and make that shape. So before we went online to do that, I was just chilling at a table with a bunch of girls that I was kind of, like, somewhat friendly with. Like, not, well, just friends-wise, but not, like, hey, like, not, like, anything like that. But so there was this one girl named, let's just call her Ashley. She, like, asked me about how I am and stuff. Do you have a crush on any girls or stuff like that? And I said, well, not really at the moment, and I'm just not really necessarily sure. I just don't know how to approach it or whatever. And she asked me if I liked her. And I said, well, at that point, my heart started my adrenaline started to spike, because I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? Because she just put me in this situation, like, uh-oh. So I said, yeah, I do, a little bit. And she kind of, her response was, she was pretty flattered by that. But this is where it gets a little interesting. So I'm now online to getting my CO2 dragster, like, sawed a little bit. Like, shape, to make that distinct shape. It was just using a little electric saw. I don't know what version of it is, but, if you're in a similar class like the one I took, you would know. So I'm online waiting, and next thing you know, I feel something hit my ass, slap my ass. And I turn around. And who is behind me? Ashley and her friends. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh my god. I'm just thinking to myself, oh my god. I just didn't know how. I just looked at her like, okay. I kind of looked at her like, just shrugged it off like, okay, I guess that was an accident. Okay. And I just moved on, but still, that just kind of like haunted me the rest of the day. I'm like, what the fuck? I even talked to my mom about it, like, and she's like, oh, okay. Then it turns out later that night, her and her other friend were outside my house trying to get my attention somehow. But I didn't hear them or didn't listen. Like, she didn't know, like, clearly, apparently they didn't see, like, I didn't know. But I remember that one day she told me that, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, you could have just rang the doorbell or something. Like, you could have got my attention. Ironically enough, I was playing on my Nintendo Wii. So that was another thing. So she's like, oh, I saw you boxing with your Wii. And I'm like, no, don't say, I'm just going to make, this is where I end that story because it just gets a little you know, inappropriate at this point because I don't want to get demonetized. But just to be fair, that's pretty much the gist of the story. Like, that was like kind of like, probably, I don't know if you want to call it the strangest encounter, but she and I were pretty, like, I guess you could say good friends. Not necessarily, we never hung out, but ironically enough, she's the same Ashley that gave me the idea of JD Thrift. And that's why I named JD Thrift's wife after her, because of as a nod to her, because without her and Kelly, another girl, I would have never had that character to begin with. Like, that, the idea of that type of a character would have never came to my mind. So that was that. So yeah, ironically enough, Ashley smacked my ass. Okay, I don't know if it was actually her. It could have been someone else. But I was just waiting online, and then I just felt something tap my left ass cheek, and then I just happened to turn around, and there she was with her friends, just giggling, and I'm like, oh boy. I was just thinking to myself, oh boy, what did I get myself into? But still, I know, I'm pretty sure she's not, like, I know at this point, she doesn't know what I'm doing right now. Like, she probably doesn't know that I named JD Thrift's character wife after her, like, because the thing was, I don't know if I should even tell her, like, because it would be like a weird conversation starter, like, hey, remember me from high school? Like, it would be a weird conversation starter, so I'm just gonna not tell her, because it's better that way. But anyways, I think that's enough of that. But Jack, so yeah, it had nothing to do with breaking bones or anything like that, but I got smacked in the ass. Lightly. In 8th grade. What a wonderful world. But still, I'm not that really good at talking with girls. Like, I am still kind of shy. And I always make the joke, I'm always forever alone. Like, that's the joke, and that's the gist, and I just feel that way. But still, like, it is what it is. But I just now lost my train of thought about what I was gonna say. Shit. Oh, fuck. It's gone. I can't even remember now. Oh, okay. I don't know now. I don't remember. I'm probably gonna just, as soon as I'm done recording, I'm gonna finally remember, and I'm gonna be like, shit! But still, Jack, again, him breaking his crush's ankle, and apparently, like, her foot was in, like, in a little hole, a little divot in the ground, and when it was pretty much stuck, so when she got tackled by Jack, her foot kind of twisted and broke. But still, nothing related, but I never had anything related to that, but still. But it's kind of funny now that I'm kind of, like, back then when I was a kid, like I said, like, I wasn't really that good, and I was still young and stupid, and I didn't know what I was doing. But now I've learned, and I've, like, even now, like, I think being in, like, Discord servers with a lot of girls, I think it's kind of helped a little bit. I've actually became friends with some girls on Instagram and on social media, but I don't look at them as, you know, crush-wise. I don't. Even, like, if they have a boyfriend, I just stay professional, and I know the idea of, like, yeah, don't fuck around. Like, even my mom has always told me, are you doing anything inappropriate with them? And I'm like, hell no. Hell no. And that's true. I'm not that type of a dumbass. I'm not that dumb. And I think I finally remembered what I was about to say, because for some reason it just hit me and then it just disappeared. But never had a girlfriend ever in my life. Never did. Never was kissed by a girl. Only in my dreams. That was it. Like, I still have my V card, but that's really it. So yeah, I'm still kind of like, you know, clean. I got a clean track record. But anyways, I think that's it for today's video. I think I've made this video a little too personal, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's reaction. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Be sure to ring that bell to be part of the notification squad. Be sure also to check out my Instagram, because I make cool ads and Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, even myself. I also do reenactments and cosplays on there, so go check it out. Be sure also to check out my Tumblrs in the description as well. And before I go, I wanted to let everybody know, if you haven't, I don't know, excuse me, if this video is up already at the moment on Instagram, but I was in a MEP, or multi-editor project, or whatever you want to call it, on Instagram for the first time in almost 2 years. And I was in this MEP by Classic Darky on Instagram, and I had a part, and I edited Darkiplier. Now, the reason why it took 2 years is because I've tried so many times in that span of 2 fucking years, and no matter how fast I comment what part I wanted, they still choose somebody else over me. Because they're so biased with their best friends. Pieces of shit. And it's the whole first come, first serve. I've always gone by that, and that's really what I did. And I saw that opportunity hit me, and I'm like, ooh, okay. But when I commented the part for the one I did recently, I just commented and I kind of just jumped to conclusions already, like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get chosen anyway. But the only like glimmer of hope was the fact that Classic Darky liked my comment. So I'm like, maybe there's hope. But then when Classic Darky added me onto the group chat, and in the little, like, the actual post, like, showing all the parts that are taken, I was like, oh, thank God, the curse is over. Now the collab curse has got to get broken. Anyways, enough of rambling. But I don't know if it's up yet, because it's August 5th right now at the time I'm recording this. It's probably up by now. Probably. I don't know. If it is, I would recommend you go check it out now. If it's not, I'll hope it comes out soon. I'm looking forward to it anyway. So enough about that. So until next time, JRDL96 signing out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.